Hello, friends. Today I'm going to talk about a financial thing. Top 5 must do as basic investments in your life. Be it you are a businessman or an employee working in a government or working in a private, these 5 basic investments are must and should be having an investment in your portfolio. Otherwise, you will be facing some hardships, some hurdles later on in life. Let me highlight why I'm saying this. Okay. Now, what are those 5 investments which we need to have is you should have a life insurance coverage for your family, a health insurance coverage for you and your family, provision for retirement for you and your spouse especially, children's education provision because children's education will become costlier, and then some investment in gold for you to just have a backup. So these are the 5 things I would recommend for anybody in any walk of life at any point of time. Okay, let me do this in a very cohesive manner as to why you need it, how can you do it, what you should do to do it, how much you need it, and where should you go and take this. Okay, first let us go into life insurance coverage. In life insurance coverage, why do you require life insurance at all? See, if you are a very rich man and you have a lot of properties and money to back up, life insurance is not at all essential for you. But at the same time, if you are the only breadwinner of the family and your income is very important for the family to go on to do whatever it is going to do, and it will stop when your income is stopping, then life insurance is very, very important. So this is for those people who is running the family with his income. Okay. Now, what is the life insurance coverage you need to pick up? Pure term life insurance are available at a very, very nominal rate, very, very reasonable rate. So that is the insurance coverage which you need to opt for. In this coverage, let me highlight that you will not get anything in return at all. This is a pure insurance coverage which will substitute your income in case something unfortunately happens to you during your work life, so that your family does not get affected by the flow of income, because this will substitute the flow of income for you. Okay, but only when something happens to you eventually. So keep it as a backup for the family so that they don't suffer when you are unfortunately not there. Right? Now, when do you want to take this life insurance coverage? Ideally, a person, once he comes to a job, he should be taking a life insurance coverage because insurance coverage is available more cheaper when you are young. Number one. Then once you get married, you need to eventually get it because you are having a family, your wife is dependent on you. So if anything happens to you, your wife should not have a problem in the income, or at least maintaining the same standard of income, right? Then when you have children, all the more important because your wife and children are dependent on you. Okay, I think by now you should be understanding what is the significance of the life insurance coverage you need to really opt for, because you are the earning member of the family without which the family will stop. Okay, how much you have to take? So you need to take a minimum of 10 times your annual income. Suppose I'm earning 1 lakh per year, my insurance coverage should be 10 lakhs. Because this 10 lakhs, when invested in the bank, they should be able to get interest per month on how much I'm getting to the home as my net salary. This is how you have to calculate. Suppose I get an income of, say for example, 20,000 to my salary, with 20,000 I run the family, then your investment should be in such a way with the amount you get on life insurance coverage on death, that if that money is invested in the bank, your family should be getting exactly the same amount of money you were getting to the family when you were employed. Okay, this is the thinking you should try to drive home. Now, where do you get it? So you have about 25 life insurance companies in India. And I would strongly recommend that Life Insurance Corporation of India, LIC, is the best institution for you to get this policy from, because in this LIC, you don't have any hidden coverages, any exclusions, which is really going to cost your family. And this is a government guaranteed company which will genuinely give the money in case something happens to you, to your family. Because the family need not run from pillar to post for just submitting all the documents and then wait for months and months to get the income. And there are no out-of-court settlements in LIC of India at all. They are purely government organizations which have settled hundreds of claims unless a person really defrauds it. Whereas in private companies, I have to tell you that a lot of claims have been denied because of exclusions, which you and I legally will not be able to observe when we are signing the contract. You really require a legal brain to identify that. I've seen families who have lost their members of the family, but the life insurance coverage has not come to them either, or come in very, very small proportion, taking an excuse that this is not filled up, that is not filled up, this you are not declared, that you are not declared. So be very vigilant, because this is the question of your family coverage. So try to go with the LIC as the only organization which can genuinely give the family the money when it really requires the most. Okay friends, I think I have covered on life insurance coverage. So the next one is the health insurance coverage. Health insurance has become very, very costly, because you know very well that because of lack of facilities in the government hospitals, we always try to go to the best treatment either for our family or for our children. Now, when you enter a private hospital, you know how much the doctors and the hospital treats you with. It definitely treats you with an exorbitant amount. So, ultimately, as we grow older, we automatically get contracted with major ailments like bypass surgery or a cancer or something. God wish we don't get it, but because of the pollution, because of the habits, food habits, and the work habits, and not taking care of health in a routine way, we automatically get contracted with this. With these ailments, if you try to enter the hospital, not less than 5 to 10 lakhs will be your expenditure, mind you. And you don't know at what point of time you'll be getting. These days, even young persons are getting stress and they are getting heart attack. People who are working in big corporates, big private companies are covered by medical insurances, but how much they are covered, you have to go and verify whether it is sufficient enough. But always it's an advice from my end that you need to take a personal health insurance to always continue that even after your retirement, because now you are covered with your company, but at the time when you are retired, when you are off your employment, you will not get a policy to enter. The premium will be very costly, and there will be so many exclusions because you are having diabetes, because you are having this, because you are having that, you are not allowed to be eligible for a policy. So take a health insurance policy now itself and try to run it throughout your life. That's the point which we want to convey here. Now, what type of policy you have to do? Always take a very comprehensive policy. Okay, a comprehensive, read the exclusions properly, which is excluded, which is not excluded, how many years it is excluded, and if you are admitted in a hospital, what are all the reimbursements you are getting, whether there is only a ceiling limit for expenses to be reimbursed or whether there is unlimited amount. You have to be very, very query and questioning the agent who is going to give you the health insurance policy. Try to be very, very, and try to compare this with 2 or 3 health insurance companies and then come to a conclusion, because once you enter this for 1 year, you cannot do anything. Now, when is it you are going to take a health insurance policy? Your health insurance policy should start from day 1 of your employment. And the moment you are getting married, you have to include your spouse in that. And the moment you have children, you have to get including your children in that policy, so that you don't burn your fingers when you go to a hospital for any emergency treatments. Okay, how much you have to take? Yes, a minimum of 10 lakhs is what you should start, and start incrementing it to the extent of say 25 to 50 lakhs based on your income affordability. But ideally, when you retire, you should be having something like 50 lakhs as your premium. If you are not able to afford 50 lakhs, minimum to minimum 25 lakhs should be there when you are retiring, because the cost of the treatment now itself is skyrocketing. At that point of time, you don't know where it will go. So where you are going to get this health insurance policy? Now, you have to go to a branded company. Don't go for any small companies which are offering you very attractive benefits but do not actually fulfill the claim when it actually arises. So try to go for standard and very, very good companies which are having good claim payout ratio. Okay, that is what you have to look for, and try to go for that and see for 1 year. Consult with your friends and then finalize the policy, and see that you renew the policy every year, because this is going to be a personal insurance in addition to what you get from office. Okay, now the third thing, retirement planning. This is very, very important, my friends, which many of the people I found that are neglecting, because life is not just today. The average age of an Indian is now 80 years, which means you are going to live for at least 20 years after your retirement, if you are going to retire by 60. So when you are retiring by 60, you should have made a provision in such a way that your earning, which was the last drawn income, in your employment should be continuing in your retirement to maintain the same standard of living. If that is not going to happen, then you have to reduce your standard of living, reduce your expenses, reduce your affordability and all those things, which is very, very difficult at that point of time. So you need to make a provision for your retirement right from the time you start your employment. If you have not started, start it today. And you have to make this provision because you and your spouse are the only persons who are going to have this benefit. Your children are going to be settled elsewhere. I am sure none of you would like to depend on your children, or none of you would like to depend on your relatives at the time of retirement. So when you are going to have that mentality, you should start making provisions for retirement right from now. Now, what is the provision you have to make? See, your pension should be lifelong for you as well as for your wife. Okay? And then it should be regular, guaranteed, and fixed amount throughout your life. Don't have fluctuating commissions, which are fluctuating with regard to interest rates, fluctuating with regard to stock market changes, etc. It should be a guaranteed amount by the government of India. All the more specifically, if it is not from government of India, any institution which is going to give you guaranteed income without any fluctuation, either in the tax provisions or in the interest provisions or in the stock market provisions. This is what your criteria should be for having a pension. Now, when should you start that income? As soon as possible or immediately. Because when you start accumulating your retirement fund for nearly about 25 to 30 years, you get a huge amount of money, and that would be sufficient enough for you to lead a very normal and a decent life. Mind you, the inflation is kicking up, one. Number two, the interest rates are coming down very drastically. So you have to scale up your investments in such a way that the more the investment is, the better is the standard of living for you in your retired life. Okay. Now, how much should you aim for? Now imagine today you are drawing say about 20,000 or 25,000 as your monthly salary. Increment that by 10% every year and calculate what will be your last drawn pay when you finally retire at 60 or 55. And that should be the amount which should continue as a retirement amount when you try to put your retirement amount fund into a bank. That should be your idea for your retirement money. Okay? Now where you should go and try to invest for this retirement. Whenever you are going for a retirement money to be invested, your money needs to be secure, safe, and very, very promising institution which gives you back exactly the amount what it has promised. For this, I would recommend nothing but government companies like Post Office or LIC of India. Both have very good schemes of retirement plans. Please go through in detail. Otherwise, you can contact me, where I am leaving my credentials at the bottom of the YouTube video. Okay, this is very important, my dear friends. Nothing to discount on this. Highly vital and crucial for a retirement life. The fourth and the important aspect is everybody would be liking to have their children educated to the highest levels of standards. Education has become very costly these days. Nothing to hide the fact that hardly any person is sending their children to government schools. So when you go into a private school, the fees are skyrocketing, and when you even though enter into higher education like engineering and send your children abroad, you're not going to incur anything less than 30 to 40 lakhs at least for the higher education abroad. So for you to have the 30 to 40 lakhs, I'm sure you would not like to take loans for all the 40 lakhs and burden you and your children for that. Start saving for the children education plan right from now. That is going to make a huge amount of difference when you start shelling out money for the higher education. Now, when should you start? You should start the moment your child is born. There are a number of children education plans in insurance companies, especially in LIC, which you can take and see that you build up that corpus so that when the time the child comes to engineering, you can withdraw some of the funds and have the higher education met, fees met. And when they are going for even postgraduate courses, the other amounts which are due from the plan can meet to some extent of your expenditure. I don't say that it's going to completely meet all the expenditure amount of the fees, what is going to be incurred, but a major portion of that at least. Now, how much you should try to aim for an investment? I would say not less than 20 lakhs is what you should try to aim for that. Because now itself, if you go to a decent engineering college, nothing less than 10 lakhs is your engineering fees. And when you send them abroad, there's nothing less than 20 lakhs per year as MS, Master of Sciences course, either in US or Canada or wherever you go. Okay, so ideally it should be around 20 to 30 lakhs, but I leave it to you on your affordability. But see that you start scaling your investments as the year goes by. Okay, where do you take it? I've already told you that you need to take these investments from either a government company or LIC of India, because that guarantees what it gives you in the beginning. Because what I say is, when they guarantee that I'm going to give you this much amount, they will definitely give you. There will not be any discounted factor in that. Whereas private companies, I'm not sure how much they're going to give you. They may allure you for better benefits, but how much they are going to finally give you when your policy matures, I'm not very sure about that. Okay, let us move to the last and the most important thing: gold investment. See, after it, you would have observed that gold prices have started increasing. Now, traditionally, India as a country are gold lovers. We love gold because gold is a very important part in our life. We try to use gold during our marriages. We try to buy gold to decorate and go to various functions with the gold ornaments. So gold is never going to be out of demand in India, at least this country for the matter. So long the demand for gold is there, golds are going to give you good returns, and not only good return, they are going to be immediately cash realizable. When you go and pledge your gold in any gold shops, standard gold shops, which I'm saying, they will definitely give you the worth of it, at least to the extent of 75% of that. So investment of gold, try to start it on a very smaller scale so that it gives you a very backup when something very emergency fund is required or emergency cash is required, either for a marriage or for a education of your children, etc. So how you should start doing it? You have to invest in gold schemes or a monthly gold schemes, which many of the gold shops have started. But go for standard gold shops which have been running for about 10 years with absolutely no fraud or absolutely no black point in their entire tenure. See that it is very important that the background check is done before you start investing it. Okay, and when should you start? You try to start a gold scheme as an installment every year. So for example, every month you can place about say 1,000 rupees or 2,000 rupees in a gold shop and start the scheme. The scheme usually, a minimum tenure could be about 11 months and maximum could be about 5 years. So start enrolling in a very disciplined way, and that will accumulate to a very reasonably good amount of investment you'll be making. And in this, I would like to add one factor is, when you're finally realizing the maturity of the gold, try to take a gold coin and keep it as a investment in your locker, instead of converting it into an ornament, because ornament generally attracts wastage and other making charges, which you have to discount your gold into. So advice is, you try to take it into a coin and keep it so that you can surrender the coin and take back the cash worth of gold during that point of maturity. Okay, this is the advice I wanted to give you. Okay, how much you have to invest? I have already told you that you can start anything from 1,000 or 2,000 rupees, and see that you start, improving the investments on this factor, because this is not going to be a waste of investment anyway. Now, where should you start it? See, where should you start it? You can start at any of the standard gold shops. Like in South India, I know GRT is there, Akshaya Gold is there, and all the stuff. And then where you can have a gold loan, Manappuram Gold Loan is there, Muthoot Finance is there, who are very, very standard, very, very high profile guys who have no black mark in their so long tenure. So you can definitely pledge your gold to take money from there, or rather surrender your gold and take money from there. So these are the gold outlets where you can utilize it. I think these are the top 5 recommendations I would take. I would really recommend everybody to imbibe in their working life, so that when you retire, you will be very, very comfortable and you can have money at your convenience. So this is what I thought, that these things are being ignored by many of the people during their working life because of various distractions like investment in stock market, investment in real estate. I don't say that is wrong, but see that all the eggs are not in one basket. This is the phenomena, this is the principle of investment, that don't put all the eggs in one basket. Try to channelize your investment in more of government schemes where your return is assured. Don't go for an investment where your return is predictable by some other feature which is not in your hands. For example, the interest rates. For example, the stock market highs and lows. So be very cautious, because all the investments what you're making is a hard-earned investments out of your income. So when you are trying to finally take that income and enjoy that benefit, there should not be any shocking or surprise for you. That's the recommendation I wanted to make. I hope this video was very useful for you. And for any queries, please contact me at the email or the mobile which I have left at the bottom of the video. And wishing you all the best. Wishing you to be rich and having a financial freedom. Thank you very much. Bye.